Hello, everyone. Thank you for letting me present today. My research topic was Etruscan tombs. I will be going into how these tombs were built, where they were, where they were built, and why. Those are all fun questions to ask. So, the Etruscans themselves. Oh, let me open this up. Sorry, this is kind of scuffed. Um, so, the Etruscans were widely held in high regard for the beautifully painted tombs. Etruscan art flourished in Italy from the 8th to 3rd century BCE. Now, I'm sure you all read that on screen. For that. Alright, so now we're on to Etruscan burial practices. So, the Etruscans, they would, they did the same thing the Romans did, which was to set up all their burial sites or graveyards, necropolises. They would set them up outside of their city. And usually it would be underground or a pretty sealed off area, just so the people who were still alive would not catch diseases from the dead bodies, because probably could have done that for like during the bubonic plague time, how they kept all of them in the city and then like a third of Europe died. But so cremation was one of the more common and popular ways of how the Etruscans would bury people. It was the first popular burial method during the Etruscan period, but later, burying the whole bodies without cremating them started to gain a little bit of popularity, which I'm sure only continued growing to what it is today. While both methods of entombment were popular, the Etruscans that were, more southern would want to bury the dead's whole bodies, while the northern territories preferred to cremate their bodies, which is kind of strange because you'd think that there would be like one popular thing that they all did, but it was pretty localized for what happened where. When the Etruscans would bury the bodies whole, they would wrap them in linen and then place them usually into a terracotta sarcophagus. Well, I guess it isn't usually a terracotta sarcophagus, but it could either be terracotta, stone, or wood. But usually, or not usually, always, it wasn't common to like dig a hole to bury their dead. They would always put them in these tombs, which is pretty sick. Alright, construction. Now, these tombs are beautiful. Like, or I might just edit a photo into the video of, or like maybe I'll just cut out like this whole the whole screen right now, and then just put up like a or not zone drone footage of like what an Etruscan tomb looks like. They are so beautiful. But they were built underground and were usually carved out of natural bedrock. or they were constructed using tufa, which is a form of limestone, kind of. But usually they would block the tomb's entrances off from like the overground or like ground level, so it was usually pretty hard to find them. Like the entrances, I mean. Um, Tumuli, those were pretty popular. Those if you see like those mounds, those are tumuli. So what they would do is they would raise the earth using tufa blocks, and then, just, I guess, slap some dirt up on there, put some grass on there, it looks like. But the way that they would construct these, they would put them into necropolises, and they'd make cities, that with like roads that would connect between each of the tombs, and they would place like useful items that the people who died used a lot, in their cities, almost as a way to help guide them through their afterlife. Would decorate the inside of the tomb, or they would like shape the inside of the tomb to look similar to the deceased family's original house. We're on to the Tomb of the Reliefs. Now, we talked about this in class. Clearly, this is one of the most popular Etruscan tombs. Whenever you look up Etruscan tombs, you'll probably see the image on screen, because it was just that popular. People love the Tomb of the Reliefs, and it's for a good reason. The Tomb of the Reliefs was made by carving into natural stone that was already there. So like how earlier I talked about how they would make mounds with tufa to raise the earth, this instead used the method of carving into natural bedrock, which is pretty dope. So the way that they set up the Tomb of the Reliefs was to look like a banquet was going on. Like this was a place where people would come to eat and celebrate. And then you see like all the shields and weapons and armor being hung from the walls. It gives like a sense of like, oh, a war just ended. Like the soldiers are finally coming home, and they're putting everything up and then just sitting down to enjoy time with the people around them. Tomb of the Blue Demons is actually super fascinating. So it shows like the journey of a soul from our spirit from living going to the afterlife. So it shows Charon, who was really popular in like Greek mythology, as the one in the afterlife who you get on the boat and then they take you across the river or whatever. That was what Charon's job was. So it was interesting to see a Greek religious figure showing up in an Etruscan tomb. One thing I found out while doing my research is, but people believe that the blue skin depicted on the demons is supposed to represent that their flesh is deteriorating, as opposed to the family that is shown moving to the afterlife, which is a contrast between those who have recently departed and those who are from the afterlife, from that world or spiritual plane. And it also shows the purity of people, or specifically the family that this was made for. And that is all I have to show you guys today.